heater on in my car.
All right, we're starting to record here, but let me just get it to where it needs to go.
NASDAQ stocks are down -16.7.
All right. So you're going to talk about, we're going to look at audience analysis today, which is one of the key components of speaking. So you want to be audience centered. You really want to consider them. You want to pay attention. You want to gather information about them. When you present in our classroom, probably you will gather different information than when you present for the first graders. Your ceremonial speech will look different as well. And so you got to analyze that information and ethically adapt to your listeners. Because you could be sneaky or subversive in what you present to get your desired results. So you have to be careful about that. So we're going to talk about those. So when you're gathering information, and this will be on a midterm, you need to know the term demographic. So say it after me, demographic.
Demographic.
Then hopefully you remember it. Did you? Nice. All right. So things like age, race, gender, sexual orientation, education level, religion, all those stats may or may not influence the choices you make in your speeches. You have to analyze them. What do you need to know about them? What do you think they'll hear? It helps you adapt your message because it might change a little bit. You might use different word choice. You might use different statistics. You might use a different attention getter depending who you have. Because you want the listeners to respond as you want them to. So, questions to ask. How are audience members similar to one another? What do they have in common? All right. How are they different? So in your classroom, when everybody's here, similarities are what? We're all people. Okay, that's pretty. Age, somewhat. How are you different?
Ginger.
Aha! Yes, I'm also part of your audience. So then it's like you got to please both. So if you play to this part of the audience sometimes, then you play to the other. You know how the drama class does a play every year for the student body? It's always a comedy. There's always some really cheap laughs. Sometimes they ride the fence on sexual innuendo, that kind of stuff. That's because that's how that audience, you know how that audience will react. The regular drama class does not pick the deep, dark, meaningful play. Okay? Because first of all, those people don't have any, few of them have experience, on the stage. And second of all, we know what you guys want to see for half an hour to get out of class. Okay? So you think differently. And based on the above, how can I establish common ground? Right? So even when you're in the first grade classroom, you got those first graders, but some of your classmates will be in there watching, and the teacher will be in there watching. So then it's like, how do I get everybody? Okay? All right, adapting. Sometimes you can do this beforehand, sometimes you have to do it on the fly when you're up here. But ethically using information gathered to help your audience understand your message and achieve your objective. So you modify your message to enhance clarity. That's an ethical way to achieve your goal. So here's an example. Mike spent spring break at Daytona Beach. He and 3 friends piled in a car and headed for a week of adventure. When he returned from the beach, sunburned and fatigued from merrymaking, people asked how his spring break had been. All right, so he talked to his best friend, his mother, and his communications professor. So his best friend, he says, "We partied all night, slept on the beach all day. It was great." Will he have the same response for the next year? No. For mom, it was good to relax after the hectic pace of college. For his professor, it was mentally invigorating to have time to think things out. It's all the same event. Okay. And did he lie?
No.
No. It's all legit. It's all the same. So I don't think he was being unethical. I think he was just being realistic of this works best for my audience. So when you consider your audience, who am I speaking to? What topic would be most suitable? Because especially when you guys get to choose your topics, like your informative and persuasive. And what is my goal? Sometimes your goal is just to get your message out. I don't care what you think, I just want to say what I want to say. Fair enough. Maybe not for this class. Sometimes I want to persuade, sometimes I want to entertain. It just depends what your goal is. You need to consider your content. What info should I share? How should I present it? Do you need a visual aid? Those types of things. How can I gain and hold attention? Some of you will see really good attention getters, and then about midway, it's like, oh, I'm kind of lost. So how can I hold that? What examples should I use, and what method of organization would be most effective? Because it doesn't always have to be straightforward. It can be a flashback. You can follow, there's different argument paths that you can follow. Consider delivery. What language differences do audience members have? When you go to the first grade classroom, you won't be talking about pedagogy and things like that with them because they'll be like, what the heck are you talking about? All right, so you will adjust your language choices. What expectations do audience members have? Especially depending on which speech you're giving in here, people will have different expectations. Your ceremonial speech will look much different than your informative or your persuasive, okay? And what style of delivery will audience members expect? And you don't always have to do the expected, but you don't want to have low expectations, let's put it that way. So being audience-centered does not mean you should tell your listeners only what they want to hear, especially in the persuasive. You have to present your information, be persuasive, and you can't fabricate information to please your audience or achieve your goal. We'll be talking later about fake news, things of that sort, okay? So keep that in mind. So again, just a recap of when you do your demographic analysis, age, gender, culture, race, what's ethnocentrism? Go.
Thinking that your race or your group is better than everybody else.
Yeah, you're the center of the world, okay? And that happens in tons of instances. So you have to take that into consideration. Group membership, political, religious work, social service. You might not know some of these, but you want to be sensitive to it, okay? And socioeconomic status could make a difference as well. Psychological audience analysis includes attitudes, likes, dislikes. You have to consider them towards your topic. Beliefs, what you hold to be true or false, and values. So attitudes, beliefs, and values. I think all three of them are very similar, and some of them are easier to sway than others. But those through that ABV is how we kind of remember those. Situational analysis, because you're going to need to know the different types of analysis, okay? That's going to be either on a quiz or on a midterm. Time, limit of the day, your time, your limit, the time of day, the size of audience. Second hour is kind of nice because most people are kind of awake because they've been here a while. Location, place and arrangement of the room will make a difference. And the occasion, why are you here? So those things, that situation, you have to look at as well. Second quarter, you'll be doing an analysis of a presentation outside of school. So when you do that analysis, you'll be talking about the situation as well. But just remember to keep it audience-centered. All right? That is it. Now, did this record?